Next, we had the Women's World Championship Fatal 4-Way match, or a 4-Way match to call it an AEW. Not a Fatal 4-Way, that would be WWE. It's a 4-Way match. We had Nyla Rose, who was back after suspension. I say that with air quotes with my fingers. You can't see this, but suspension. Against Hikaru Shida, Britt Baker, Dr. Britt Baker, of course, and the Women's World Champion Rio. We haven't seen Rio in ages, it feels like, since I think the AEW, just after Full Gear. And as soon as Britt Baker came out, I just started thinking, like, what has she done for this title opportunity? Apparently, she's the number 2 ranked competitor in the women's division, but I mean, she's lost to Rio, she lost to Hikaru Shida. It seems like every big match Britt Baker has, she loses. And spoiler for the finish of this match, she doesn't win this one, but put a pin in that because we'll come back to that in a second. Before the match, Nyla Rose attacked Rio and Britt Baker with the Women's World Championship belt. But Hikaru Shida fought back, hit with a kendo stick. The match started hot. Nyla Rose, I mean, the story of this match is that Nyla Rose, she's called the Native Beast, but she genuinely is a beast. She is just the star, for me, of the AEW Women's Division. A women's division that is severely lacking in talent and quality matches so far, in my opinion. She hit this flying knee guillotine from the top rope. She then hit a running senton through the table onto Hikaru Shida. Lots of near falls in this match. At one point, she went for a swanton bomb to Rio and Hikaru Shida, but they rolled out the way. At one point, Hikaru Shida actually hit a Michinoku driver onto Nyla Rose, but kicked out at 2. Rio, though, wins the match. She gets a jackknife cover on Dr. Britt Baker as Britt Baker was locking in the lockjaw on Hikaru Shida. So Rio retains and still the AEW Women's World Champion. But post-match, said this whole match, this whole segment, this was all about Nyla Rose for me. She attacks Rio, she sets her up on a table and hits a big frog splash or splash, whatever you want to call it, through Rio, through the table. And they also sell after the match, which is a good point to make. So Rio's taking a lot of punishment here. She got the shit kicked out of her by Nyla Rose, getting splashed through the table. And they sell the fact that Rio, of course, next week still has to face Chris Statlander for the AEW Women's World Championship. This was I was thinking this as I was watching this. This is the best AEW Women's match I think I've seen them do. Nyla Rose is just an absolute star. If I threw this out on Twitter, that realistically going forward, this is how I would book this women's division, because I think this women's division is struggling. I really do. Just there's no connection, there's no spark, especially in comparison. And people can say, "Oh, don't make comparisons." Well, they go on at the same time slot. People are always going to make comparisons. When you're going up against NXT, and their women's division is main event in shows, you've got Rhea Ripley, who's on fire, versus Shayna Baszler a couple of weeks ago. You've got Female War Games, which was one of the show stealers back in November. AEW needs to up their women's division. So if you booked Nyla Rose to be this just dominant monster, she just destroys everyone. I mean, Bill Goldberg style, just win. Destroys everyone, brutal, puts them through tables, puts them through the ring, puts them through the barricade. No one can beat Nyla Rose. Who can beat Nyla Rose? That's when you bring in Awesome Kong. Now, I know Kong's limited in what she can do in the ring at the moment because of her back issues, etc. But that's the money match, isn't it? You build up Nyla Rose. People already know Awesome Kong, her history. So the match she had with Gail Kim, just the monster that she is, that's your money match. Okay, the match itself might not be that good at all, but it doesn't matter. You've already got them in the seats. You've already got their money. Okay, and in the interim, before you even get to the Nyla Rose Awesome Kong, gotta remember Aja Kong. Okay, they had that face up between her and Awesome Kong back in the summer, so she's still on the AEW Women's roster. You build up Nyla Rose, face Aja Kong. In the interim, that's where you get your money as well. So there's matches there to be made. It's just about the booking, of course. Always about the booking. Now, I mentioned before, like, what had Britt Baker done to deserve this match? Well, she lost again. Britt Baker, for me, she just doesn't connect to me. Now, she might to some other. I just don't really. They were trying to, for me, initially, I think they were trying to build the division around her, weren't they? Britt Baker, she's a good face to have as a division, of course, but it's just not connecting. The matches fell very flat for me. The crowd reactions just were a bit flat. And yeah, I just didn't think I don't get it. I don't get her matches. I don't. There's just nothing. There's nothing there. You know, when there's just nothing there, and you just sort of, the match happens, you go, wow, yeah. It's sort of that shrug feeling, you know. And people might disagree with me. If you disagree with me, be sure to tell me in the comments below. I'm sure you will. I just don't think it's the best use for her. Now, over in Impact, of course, you have Tessa Blanchard. Now, she is, you know, carving up the pro wrestling world at the moment, isn't she? If AEW and they have the money to do it, if they need to sign someone to elevate this women's division, it's Tessa Blanchard. Now, is Tessa Blanchard going to leave? Probably not. I mean, by all accounts, it would look like she might become the Impact World Champion after defeating Sami Callihan in January. It was hard to kill. So, I don't think she'll be leaving Impact anytime soon. I think, if anything, that's why Impact are putting the title on her, because they didn't want her to leave that badly. So, if AEW could do it, that's the person I'd sign. If they gave me a blank check, I'd give that check to Tessa Blanchard and say, put a number on there to come for AEW, because they need it. They need it in the women's division. They absolutely need it. Now, later on in the night, they were going to throw to an interview to Rio backstage about being attacked by Nyla Rose, facing Chris Statlander next week, but we were interrupted by Britt Baker. Hello, a little bit of character development here. She talks about Rio not being here recently. You haven't been here. I've been here every week. I've been doing matches. She says that she stole, Rio did, her Women's World Championship while Rio's away. Britt Baker shows up, and she even runs her own dental practice at the same time. So this would look like the beginning of a heel turn for Britt Baker, and I think this is the best thing for her. Like I said, I felt that her character's been very flat and the matches have been flat and boring. So this edge is needed. But I don't think she should be the top heel in the company. Like I said, Nyla Rose fits that spot better for me.